Hey everybody, it's Allie and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, January 8th, 2017. Last year, at the very beginning of 2016, I created a thread at yrchat.com and asked you guys to give me your predictions for the entire year of 2016. And some of them came true, some of them did not come true, but I thought it might be fun to kick off our new year here and just talk about a couple of them. A lot of people had predicted that Hillary would get pregnant in 2016. That was one of my predictions too. Kind of surprised that it didn't happen. Y&R definitely took the character of Hillary in a completely different direction than I ever would have guessed. So that was kind of fun to see a lot of people saying that. Colleen had predicted correctly that Abby and Ben would be getting a divorce. It's kind of ironic too, because Abby was talking last week at the New Year's Eve party about how happy she was at this time last year, and now here she is getting a divorce. Colleen also correctly predicted that Chloe would return to Genoa City with her baby girl. So, nail on the head, Colleen, for that one. I love it. Quite a few people were talking about Marissa and Noah. It's kind of crazy that they're technically still together, even though she's off screen. Edith had predicted that Patty would be the one to return to Genoa City just in time to unlock the secret with Dr. Anderson, evil Dr. Anderson. The ramifications of that whole storyline are definitely still going on. Robbie had predicted that Kane would leave his job at Fenmore's, start a new career, and erupt a feud with either Adam, Billy, Nick, or Luca. Robbie, you were right about the feud with Billy for sure. Adam had predicted that Billy will once again go back to Victoria. She will forgive him until he makes his next mistake. I think we are in the throes of that as we speak. I'm sure that that Victoria will forgive Billy, and then following suit as always, he will screw something up and get banished from her princess kingdom, and she will accept him back in again in a never-ending cycle that is their relationship. Katie had predicted that Kevin and Mariah would become a couple. I think we were all thinking that that was headed in the direction of a romance, but it unfortunately didn't pan out. I predicted the Billy and Phyllis affair erupting into an epic brotherly rivalry. I think I was reading the tea leaves on that one. I think that the Billy and Phyllis affair was just starting to show little signs of blooming there at the beginning of 2016. So I'm not sure that I was pulling that one completely out of nowhere, but it did end up coming true. And my favorite prediction of my own that came true, Victor and Nikki break up, make up, and then break up again. I got part of that right. It's yet again the cycle of these relationships. Nikki and Victor, I think they started off broken up and they ended together in 2016. I'm sure that by the end of 2017 they'll be broken up again. But those were just a few. I mean, I wanted to highlight some of the ones that came true, but the ones that didn't come true were actually just as entertaining to go back and see. So if you want to take a quick peek at all of our Y&R Chatter predictions for 2016, the ones that came true, didn't come true, yrchat.com is where you can take a look at those. And I have created a brand new thread at the website for 2017 predictions. So what do you guys think will be the big storylines of 2017? Not just the ones that are starting to happen now, but what do you see? Where are we going to be in December of 2017? go to yrchat.com, leave your predictions, get out your crystal balls. Let me know where you think Y&R is headed. I mean, I think it's fun to do real predictions, but a lot of them are end up kind of being silly, and that's okay too. So leave your real predictions, your silly predictions, and we will check back in 2018. Oh, that's crazy. And we'll see which ones came true. Well, the good news is Devon is alive. The bad news is he wrecked his $200,000 car that he just bought. No, just kidding. The bad news is that Devon has amnesia. Oh, I didn't even think that was where this was going to be headed. I thought there's no way Y&R is going to do an amnesia thing with Devon. That would be ridiculous. Oh, this is new writing. This is a new era. No way. And then sure enough, Devon has no memory of the accident that he was just in. He has no memory of the benefit. He has no memory of the big explosion that happened there with Hillary and Mariah. He is just a blank slate at this point. He remembers only conveniently the love that he felt for Hillary moments before the whole thing blew up with Mariah. So I can't believe we're here, but it did create some pretty good scenes that were character building. There were some good moments that came out of it this week. Specifically, I felt that Hillary's meltdown was incredible. I know I'm constantly singing the praises of this actress week after week, but you gotta admit the opening scene, I think it was on Monday, where she wakes up, realizes that Devon didn't come home last night. Neil has shown up at the door looking for Devon as well. Her entire meltdown was so real to me. I kind of felt her pain. I felt where she was coming from. She can't understand why he wouldn't have come home. She can't imagine where he is. And then to get a phone call finding out that he was in a horrific car accident. He's been airlifted to the hospital. He's in critical condition. Hillary and Neil both rushed to the hospital to be with Devon. Hillary cannot sleep. She will not eat. She will not leave Devon's side. She is wholly committed to him in this moment. And I think she has been, this is just my opinion, but I think she has been committed to Devon, at least for the past several months. I think that she really does love him. And I was able to see that and feel that during their bedside scenes together. Even though she's done some horrible things, she's definitely taken him for granted. There is no two ways about it. I'm not trying to make excuses for what Hillary has done. I'm only saying that I believe that she loves him. And I think there was a part of Lily and Neil that also believed that or understood that deep down. Of course, Lily and Neil are both blaming her. I mean, Lily, surprisingly, when she found out that Devon was in this accident, she was wrecked. She has been trying to connect with her brother for months now, trying to show him the light when it comes to Hillary, and now to find out that Hillary and the argument with Hillary is what instigated him driving at these high speeds. It's pretty obvious that that was what happened in the car. Lily seeing her brother there lying so weakened, it was difficult for her. It's difficult for Neil to see his son doing this, and I'm sure on some level it's difficult for Neil because he's been there with Hillary. He kind of knows what it's like to be married to the woman and what it's like to love her and to experience a betrayal by her. So all of these emotions are swirling around in the emergency room. And I mean, Lily even had a moment, by the way, of saying, if Devon can be okay, I promise I'll even be friends with Hillary. I mean, she's making promises about befriending Hillary in this moment, only to backtrack on them a couple of minutes later. And same thing with Neil. Neil, toward the beginning of the week, was very much a peacekeeper. He was trying to encourage Lily to put aside the anger. He was talking to Hillary in a supportive way. I really liked seeing Neil step it up and try to just be someone who's making sure the focus is on Devon, not around the drama surrounding Hillary and Devon. But everything changed when it was revealed that Devon's memory was gone, that all he feels is the love for Hillary, and has no idea what the incident was that led up to his car accident. He doesn't remember the car accident at all. Everyone, I think the Neil and Lily actually both wanted to rush in and fill in the blanks for him immediately. I think Neil was much more reserved in that, but if it was up to her, Lily would have ran in there and started telling Devon all about the fight, all of the juicy scoop and horrible things that Hillary did immediately. She probably had to hold herself back from doing that. And I think that it was mostly because everyone is trying to focus on Devon and not causing him any additional stress that didn't happen immediately. I mean, he's going to find out eventually. Eventually, this truth is going to come out. I mean, Hillary can't possibly keep a lid on all of this for very long, and when she does, here's the thing, when life and death is on the line after someone almost dies, I mean, Devon almost died. He had a seizure to prove it. I mean, it was like convulsing in the bed, and he's bloody and he's stitched up, and what has happened to him is severe. He almost died. When the truth does come out, is it really that big of a deal in light of their relationship? I guess the thing is, and I know this is going to be unpopular, but what Hillary did to Mariah doesn't really affect their relationship specifically. It was the cumulative toll that Hillary's behavior took on her relationship with Devon that caused the break. And so there's a big part of me that thinks when Devon finds out about what happened at the benefit, and in light of everything that has just happened to him, that he's just gone through, I wonder if he's gonna end up forgiving her anyway. There's just a part of me that thinks there's no way he's gonna automatically turn on a dime when he can't put the pieces together himself. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I kind of wonder if Devon will forgive Hillary, but the question is, should Devon forgive Hillary? And that was our poll from last week. 75% of you said absolutely not. Devon should not forgive Hillary. I think a lot of people feel like Hillary has taken him for granted over and over again, and this is just the latest in a string of betrayals by her. I saw a lot of comments with people saying they felt Hillary is very selfish, and it's true that even in the moments where Devon is weakened, where he needs her the most, she's finding a way to make it all about her. I think that's a very, very valid argument. I hear it. I feel it. I totally feel it. And I'm not trying to say that what Hillary did to Mariah wasn't awful, but it almost feels like a small straw to break up the marriage for good. You know what I mean? There are so many other big bad things that people on Y&R have done that like Hillary doing a catty thing to another woman doesn't really feel like it would be enough to break up their entire relationship. That's all I'm saying. And it feels like, I mean, I think I voted that he should, I can't remember. I think I might have voted in the minority that Devon should forgive Hillary. I know, I'm so bad. And the thing is, and just please understand, no matter what I say, I'm going to have probably half people agreeing with me and half people not agreeing with me. It's funny because there was this line that Hillary said at Devon's bedside this week. He was asking about GC Buzz, and she said to him, don't worry about it. It's just TV. It's not life. And I thought, gosh, I wonder, it was sort of a line that she breezed over, but I thought, I wonder if that was a line that there was a little more meaning to. It's just TV, it's not life. Because I think that we tend to project all of our own feelings onto the show. I've talked about that before. I think the show is just kind of a something like a window, into how we perceive life. And it feels like week after week, every time I comment on this storyline, it's kind of like the Adam storyline with Delia. Every time I say anything about it, I've got half people vehemently agreeing and half people attacking me. So I'm waiting for the comments to come in of people not agreeing with me. It's just that I guess I just like Hillary, and I like the actress who plays Hillary so much because she's just bringing something different to the show. She's bringing me the drama that it kind of makes me want to give some allowances to her character. And I guess I feel that way similarly with Sharon. I can't deny that Sharon's done some crazy crap, but I like the character and I like the actress. So I guess that's the comparison I have to make here. In reality, should Devon forgive Hillary? No, the straw should have happened a long time ago, not just with the Mariah thing. And I guess it's just me enjoying the drama maybe a little bit more than anything else. But it's not a small deal to Mariah. If I was Mariah and in her shoes, then I think I would want revenge and vengeance on Hillary too. I probably would have wanted to do the same thing with the teleprompter that Mariah did. It's a big deal to her. It seems like a small straw in the scope of Devon and Hillary's relationship, but not a small straw for Mariah. She is right now just holding down the fort at GC Buzz. They are running some reruns, but Mariah did jump into the forefront and do an update for the fans. And Mariah seems genuinely, like Lily and like Neil, genuinely concerned about Devon's health and welfare. And I'm wondering if Mariah is going to end up visiting Devon in the hospital next week. And who knows? Maybe Devon just seeing Mariah's face will be enough to jog his memory on his own. I love this Lauren Fenmore's takeover storyline so much. It is fantastic. I cannot wait to see this bubble up to the forefront of the show, become the big story. There's so much potential that's going to come out of this. I just cannot tell you how much I'm enjoying seeing Lauren on the screen. I love business storylines. I think this is just going to be fantastic. I especially love how Lauren had a scene this week talking about Fenmore's as not just a company, it's her father's legacy. It's a legacy that she has been entrusted with keeping secure, and she feels like she's failing. And on a larger level, it's not just about the business. Lauren feels like she's failing her father. It's interesting to me that I don't remember very much about Lauren's father at all. Was he ever cast on the show? I think that Lauren's character came before the parents would have. I don't know. If anybody wants to give me some background on Lauren's father, I would love to get the scoop on him. But more importantly, I think it's created a wonderful parallel between what's going on with Lauren and the Fenmore's company and what has gone on in the past between Jack and the Jabot company. It's two worlds colliding in just such a beautiful way and intertwining in a beautiful way. It's ironic that Jack is wanting to do to Lauren what Victor did to him. Jack lost John's legacy company, Jabot, for years. I don't even think he got back control until just recently. He's lost Jabot for, I think, more time than he's had it. And so it is such a really just brilliant storyline move that now Jack is trying to do that to Lauren, and it's obviously heartbreaking. I don't want to see it happen, but I think it's a really strong storyline. And the other thing is that Jack and Lauren have been friends for so long, and friends and colleagues, and I do ask myself, what is in it for Jack? Why is he so hell-bent on doing to someone what was done to him when there's not really that much to gain? It's going to end up being just a feather in Gibault's cap if he is able to pull off this takeover. Gibault is doing really well right now. We saw a report to prove it. We saw Jack hand Ashley that report that she flipped through that actually had pages. I mean, did you guys notice that the scene was shot from behind Ashley as she's flipping through this report? So someone behind the scenes actually put together this report for Gibault showing their trends and their forecasts for the next year. I thought that was a really nice touch. And so we know that Gibault is doing well. It's on track. So why does Jack want to destroy the friendship? It doesn't entirely make sense to me. It wasn't Fenmore's boutique in the Gibault building at one point? I feel like this is, there's been quite a few ties between Gibault and Fenmore's over the years, and it's not exactly consistent that Jack would choose to bust that up, but it does make a good story that he's the villain. Sorry. And I like that it's putting Lauren in the forefront. It's giving her a very relatable story as well. She feels guilty that the company is taking a nosedive, and now she's got Gloria breathing down her neck, which Gloria on the scene just makes my day. Maybe I like her more in small doses, but right now Gloria's also providing some much needed drama. The woman is broke. I love that she mentioned this week that all of her glowworm insurance money is gone because Jeffrey blew it all on a horse. Glowworm. I completely forgot about Glowworm. I can't remember if I liked that restaurant or if I didn't. I want to say I liked it because it kind of had this salmon and gold color theme, and it was a little bit upscale, but you know, a little bit casual too. Glowworm was a big restaurant in Genoa City for a number of years, and then I want to say Billy bought it, right, and turned it into gosh, what was the name of it then? It was like Dee Dee's or something. I remember he owned it at the time of Delia's death. Am I right about that? I want to say, but the restaurant burned. Or no, it burned down. But maybe they rebuilt it. I could be completely wrong. My memory is fuzzy at the moment. I should have probably researched it, but it burned down. And Gloria was living, I suppose, on the insurance money, which is gone now. So she needs a job so that she can get some extra income. Lauren will not give her a job. So Gloria ends up snooping around and blackmailing Lauren for a job, of course, as one does. She's blackmailing Lauren in exchange for not telling Michael what she found out about Fenmore's business dealings, about their profits. Yet again, we have another spread. What was it? A chart. We had a chart of Lauren's business and the sales in a downward trend. I find it interesting also that Lauren was looking at that chart as if she didn't already know. It was a chart over time showing us that Lauren's company's profits are on a downward slide, and Gloria happened to open up Lauren's laptop at exactly the right moment to see exactly that spreadsheet. It told her everything she needed to know. But kudos to whoever sat behind the scenes at Y&R and made up that chart. I noticed it and appreciated it, and maybe you're the one who also made the report for Gibault. I don't know, but it was fantastic. Thank you. But Lauren doesn't want to tell Michael about what's going on with her company simply because she doesn't want to stress him out. He's in a good place right now. Cannot even believe, by the way, that Lauren mentioned to Gloria Michael's cancer. I cannot even believe that those words would leave her mouth. Y&R either needs to address the fact that they never followed up on Michael's cancer storyline. We don't know, we assume he's in remission, but they never mentioned word one about it after a certain point. They either need to follow up on that or they need to never mention it again. But don't keep us in suspense. We've been saying for years now that whatever happened with Michael's cancer, they literally just dropped the ball on his, prostate cancer? I mean, it was ridiculous. So I was surprised about that. But the preview for next week has Lauren saying, I need to tell you something, Michael. So I wonder if she's going to go ahead and defuse the blackmail bomb on her own with and just tell Michael what's going on with her company. Because hiding the truth from him puts her in a terrible position. It puts Phyllis in a terrible position of having to lie to her friend. And Phyllis is full-time working with Lauren now. Love seeing those two ladies together. We had a preview next week of Phyllis being in her old office at Jabot with Ravi. So I'm sure Phyllis is probably maybe working a little bit of magic to charm Ravi into maybe stealing some files from Jabot. She doesn't work there anymore, so there's no reason she should be there. So I'm gonna guess that Phyllis is trying to be a little bit shady, which pits Jack and Phyllis against each other in the future with this storyline. Another reason I think this is just such a great writing move. I mean, Phyllis and Jack have a great love-hate chemistry going on, and it's brewing. It is brewing behind the scenes, and I think it's only gonna get bigger and better. Jack this week tries to offer Lauren a buyout. He tries to do things on the up and up, but Lauren smartly turns it down. She knows that Jack is probably just going to break up the company and do what he wants, no matter what his promises say. He says, "Oh, I promise I'll keep you on, and I'll keep Fenmore's intact. I just want to own it." Yeah, right. She sees right through it. I think Jack has this little twinkle in his eye, and that his prey is in sight, and Lauren could probably see that twinkle in his eye. Oh, I tell ya, I think that this is going to be really, really juicy, because at the very end of Friday's show, oh, it's getting good. See, I really thought that I was going to enjoy seeing Gloria as an ally for Lauren, especially given her history with Jack, which was fantastic. The second that Jack stopped by Lauren's apartment, Gloria opened up the door and they had this little snarkiness between them. "Jack, haven't seen you in a while." Yeah, it's never long enough. It was so good. And there was some zinger about, he said something like, "Oh, I heard you were in town. There's an Amber Alert at all of the department stores to check their face creams to make sure there's no poison in them." And she said something about the fact that Jack forged a will. It was just such a funny little moment between those two. I would love to see some more scenes between Jack and Gloria. I love her sort of highfalutin way. I mean, for a woman who came from nothing, who has probably been broke more than she's had money in her life, she just has this flair about her that's fun and funny to watch, and it especially plays well off of Jack and his smugness. So it was really good to see those two together. But I thought that Gloria and Lauren would find a way to team up against Jack. But then the worm turned, and at the very end of Friday's show, Gloria calls Jack to help, to give him an offer to help get him the company. I cannot even believe that she would do that. Lauren turns her down for a job, so Gloria just turns around and backstabs Lauren and offers to help Jack get a piece or gain Jabot in order to gain a piece of the power for herself. That's a really nice way to treat your daughter-in-law, Gloria. No wonder your sons don't want to be around you. They don't even call you mom. Just like the Jabot profits report or projection report that we saw this week, there's so many other little touches that I'm appreciating about the show right now. Someone is taking the time to visually show us the history of the show, to visually pull us into the world of Genoa City. Did you notice in the Jabot lobby this week, there was a great shot of Ashley and Billy getting into the elevator, and in the foreground, there were all of these perfume bottles of Jabots from from all of the perfumes they've done over the years. It's just little things like that that were striking visually and that create a scene, that create a mood. And not only that, but there's other things that I've noticed that I haven't had a chance to say. Just the fact that, like, for instance, there was a scene this week with Nikki and Jack at the athletic club, and this is such a small thing, but they were kind of meeting and having a chat, and Nikki was eating a salad. It's such a stupid little small thing to notice, but the fact that they're always at this restaurant and they're never eating food is something that, you notice over time, you never mention it, but the fact that Nikki's sitting there actually having a salad, and I've noticed it over the past couple weeks, and people actually taking bites of their food is it just creates a sense of hominess, a sense of reality, a sense of the fact that this is a world that exists. There are beverages constantly being poured now. Ashley offering Billy a cup of coffee at the office. It's a little thing, but it adds up. By the way, Ashley, can you quit toying with Ravi, please? I would appreciate it if you would stop stringing this guy along. I feel like Ashley needs to be more firm with Ravi. She needs to be real with him, because otherwise this guy is going to start snipping off locks of your hair and collecting them for his photo album or his memory book or something. I swear, his apartment probably has an entire wall dedicated to photos and newspaper clippings of Ashley. It's his creep factor is through the roof for me. I've got red flags, stalker red flags going off in my mind right now. I'm just kidding for the most part. I mean, I think he's cute. I actually think that Ravi would be a good pairing for Abby. I think Ravi and Abby would be a kind of a cute little quirky couple. It's just the thing is I need him to lay off of Ashley, because there's only one geeky guy whose heart should belong to Miss Ashley Abbott, and that is Dr. Simon Neville. Okay, I'm sorry, but the date that Ashley is talking about on Friday's show, she has some kind of date, it better be Dr. Neville. He's the only acceptable pairing for her in my mind anyway. Seriously, I think we need to start cutting some salaries at Y&R if that's what it takes to bring Michael E. Knight back onto my screen. It appears that Reed is a nice boy. He's not a troublemaker, as it seemed at first. Last week's cliffhanger had Reed showing up on Victoria's doorstep flanked by 2 police officers, but the truth is it was a very minor little offense, and he is in Genoa City because he wants to live with Victoria instead of moving with JT and Mac to Warsaw. Apparently JT has been offered a new job abroad, and rather than being ripped out of his life, he wants to come live with his mom. Completely understandable. So I think we gotta do a poll on this one, you guys. First impressions of Reed. What is everybody thinking about GC's new teen? Is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down for our new Reed? YRChat.com. I have put up a poll there, and you can give new Reed a thumbs up or give him a thumbs down, and leave some comments. Let me know what you guys think about him. YRChat.com. I think immediately of Daniel when I see new Reed. As soon as he came on my screen, he's sort of a hip high schooler with his ripped jeans and boots and bracelets and rings, and I think he had a rope necklace. I thought, this is giving me a Daniel vibe. This kid is alternative. He's got on his scarf and his flannel tied around his waist, and he plays the guitar. It's such a Daniel kind of vibe. Even there was an incarnation of Noah that was a guitar player, and I think that, I mean, like, Daniel was sort of an artist, Noah was a guitar player. Maybe that's something that they'll be able to connect over. I don't know, but I like this version of Reed. I think it's, he seems like a kind of cool, sort of typical teenager. I think he's got some personality. I think he's got some some potential. It's hard for me to believe that he had to save up his money to buy this guitar that he wants to have, considering he's a super rich kid. He's probably, well, with mommy's money, he's rich beyond belief, and I'm sure that JT and Mac don't do too shabby either. But who knows, maybe he could take a job at Newman Enterprises to get more money for his little guitar hobby or interest. Sorry, I shouldn't demean it, but maybe he'll be a rock star. Maybe he'll be Genoa City's new Danny Romalotti someday. Who knows? Again, it's a wide open vista of potential for new Reed. I really love the juxtaposition of this kid with his flannel around his waist and the big rip in his jeans next to the great and powerful Victor Newman. That was a fun scene. Victor saying he's stoked that Reed is here. Yeah, the word stoked actually came out of Victor's mouth. That was kind of fun. You can just bet that Reed is gonna, whether today, tomorrow, or maybe that's a prediction for 2018, you can just bet that Victor sees that boy as a pawn in the never-ending quest to thrust his family into Newman Enterprises and to make it even the greater company that it is today. He built his company from the ground up. Didn't you know? Maybe Reed needs a lesson in how Victor built his company from the ground up. Victor was eyeballing Christian last week to take over the company, so you can bet that he's taken a look at this kid who's a little older, a little closer to the grooming age for becoming an executive. You can bet that Victor is thinking about that. It was kind of fun. I don't think Reed's gonna be too anxious to take the bait immediately because it seems like all he really cares about is his axe, his guitar, and also getting Billy and Victoria back together. It's unintentional, but Reed is bridging the gap between Victoria and Billy as Victoria is trying to deny the fact that they had an almost kiss on New Year's Eve. She's trying to deny the fact that she finds Billy attractive and charming, and that despite the fact that she's trying to be the single mom superwoman, that there are some things that it would be handy to have him around to help out with, such as circuit breakers being blown. I don't know that much, but when the circuit breaker blows, don't you just have to flip a switch? I don't know. Apparently, the fix for the blown circuit breaker, due to Reed's incredible, enormous wailing on his axe, blew the fuse, and Victoria needed Billy to come help, or it was Reed's suggestion that she gets Billy to come help. I think it's kind of an interesting parallel that Reed is bridging the gap between Victoria and Billy, while Billy is bridging the gap between Victoria and Reed. Victoria is finding that she doesn't really know her son. She doesn't really know how to relate to a teenager, and this specific teenager, the specific things that he's interested in aren't things that she's interested in. So it's hard for her. She's had her child kind of dropped on her doorstep, literally, and she is struggling to relate. But Billy is doing a good job of helping to transition her, helping to give her advice, just little ways of greasing the wheels between them. Reed likes Billy. He likes having Billy around. He understands him in a way that his mom and probably his dad don't. So Reed enjoys palling around with Billy, and why not? Billy and Reed are at about the same maturity level. Dylan McAvoy is now Derek Young. Oh, so sad. The whole thing with Dylan is so sad to me. He has accepted this dangerous undercover mission. He is coming home to tell Sharon that it is starting now, that he is leaving now, and she is pleading with him to not run away. We all know that he's doing this because of what happened with Sully/Christian, and she's saying to him, don't do this. Don't run away from from your feelings. Stay here. Let's deal with it together. And I really liked the line and the explanation where Dylan said, I can't do anything about what happened with Christian, but I can do my job. I can try to go bust these drug dealers. I can try to make the world a better place. And it was such an endearing moment between Sharon and Dylan. It helped me understand where he was coming from. If I were in her shoes, I think I would be sobbing. I would be begging him not to go. But she seems to accept that this is what he needs in order to begin to heal. This is what he needs to do for his person. And she's kind of setting herself back a little bit, setting her own feelings aside and letting him go without too much protesting. He says goodbye to Sharon and he hands her his wedding ring for safekeeping. He can't show that this new identity he's assuming for the undercover mission, that there's any inconsistencies. So he can't even keep his wedding ring, and he gives it back to her. And she is just so destroyed over everything that's going on. She is looking at him as he's getting ready to walk out the door and saying, please tell me that you're going to be back. Tell me that you're going to be coming home. And he just looks at her and turns around and walks out the door. Wow. I mean, that was such a moment. My heart broke. I have this sinking feeling in my chest even just thinking about it. It was so sad and yet so real. And I thought that was it. That was it. I thought that was the end of Dylan's character. It would have been such a powerful note to go out on, but I don't think that's the end of Steve Burton's scenes. I went online immediately, of course, to find out, is that it? Is this the end of Dylan? And I guess there's still more to come. It really seemed like an ending, didn't it? But I'm sure that they got to kind of tie this up. I think I would guess that they are sending him off and that they're going to come back and maybe sort of give us some update and some resolution, because ultimately Sharon and Dylan are still married. They're still gonna be together. Something has to happen ultimately to their marriage. He can't just ride off into the sunset indefinitely. And I can't help thinking that the next thing we're gonna hear is that Dylan is presumed dead. That's just what my instinct is saying. I think it is consistent. It would be consistent with Dylan's character that he would be presumed dead, because Y&R can't just have him go away for good, and I don't think that Steve Burton has any plans of coming back to the show. It seems like it kind of wants to be done, that he wants to go spend time with his family, and he lives in Nashville. I'm sure that's a heck of a commute. He has a new restaurant that he just opened, so I think there's just other things that Steve Burton wants to be focusing on, and I don't think Y&R has any plans that I know of recasting the character. So it makes sense to me that they would need to send off the character of Dylan in a presumed dead sort of way, because he wouldn't just walk away from his family for good. How long can this undercover mission go on? Years and years? Dylan wouldn't really do that, would he? But also it creates the issue of the marriage with Sharon. It would, if he is presumed dead, then it would allow Sharon's character to move on without a messy divorce, or without a divorce at all. So that's my prediction for 2018, what's going to happen, or for 2017. I just have a feeling maybe that's it. And we've also seen a setup that Paul and Christine are going to feel so awful when something goes wrong. They've been talking about how dangerous the mission is, going on at length about that. Paul was really upset that he wasn't able to say goodbye to Dylan and fill him in on the mission. Nikki's, going to be really upset when she finds out all about this. So I have a feeling that something is going to go wrong. Everybody is going to think that he's dead, and it's going to cause a lot of upset, and it's going to give us many more scenes of everyone consoling Faith. Yay. Maybe I have evolved. That was last week's Who Said It quote. It was Victor who uttered that sentence that we all know is not true. Victor was having a conversation with Ashley regarding their whole space for space swap. Victor was going to give up the banquet space at Newman Tower in exchange for Jack allowing Billy and Victoria's brash and sassy business to stay in the lab. And Victor was going on about how there would have been a day where he would have been happy to do anything that would have kept Billy and Victoria apart. And now here we are, a new Victor Newman, a new day. Maybe he's saying, maybe I have evolved. If you believe that, I also have some oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you. So, I can't imagine that Victor Newman has really truly evolved. Maybe he's just evolving to a brand new level of villainy that's much more subtle. I don't know. I like it so far though, and 9 of you were able to figure out that it was Victor who said that quote. Congratulations to you guys. You caught it. It was Sandra, Henry, Bonnie, Tina Cole, Candida, James, Jen, Consuela, and Tanya, who all got that right. Congratulations. The one I have for this week was really quick. I think it's going to be a challenging one. I don't know if you guys are going to get it. But this week's quote is, "Let the adventure begin." Who said it? If you think you know, yrchat.com is where you can leave your guess. Who said it? Let the adventure begin. Let's crack the Chatterbox here and read some of your comments for the week. I really like this one from Katie on Facebook. She says, "How are these women walking around in the snow with sleeveless dresses and short skirts? I mean, they look great, but they make me feel cold just looking at them." I noticed the same thing this week, Katie, and I was kind of excited to talk about it actually, but I'm glad you brought it up first, because there was specifically a scene where Phyllis and Lauren walked into her apartment. They're commenting on how cold it is, and then they pull off their coat and it's sleeveless and breasty, and I'm like, is this winter in the Midwest? It doesn't look like it to me, but I agree, they do look fabulous. Diana left me a comment at yrchat.com saying, "I just wanted to say I love how Y&R is finally showing the characters utilizing the rooms in their homes. It is so much more realistic and pleasurable to see the characters in their kitchens and living rooms by the fire instead of just seeing them off in the distance. I was so sick of them always in coffee shops all the time. It's 1,000% better now. They are now showing them in different parts of the home that you never see. Even in the coffee shop and restaurants, they're showing them sitting in different seats near walls they never did before." Yes, Diana, I've been noticing it too. There's just obviously a change in the visual direction of the show. It's exactly what I was saying earlier in regards to some of the set pieces. Yes, it is wonderful to see these homes, to get a sense of our characters and their lives and who they are outside of when they're out in public. So wonderful observation, and I couldn't agree more. Daisy on Facebook says, "Y&R starts off the new year with Devon in an accident. I'm glad Devon woke up though, but he has amnesia now. Or does he?" Maybe Devon is faking amnesia to see how far Hillary will take the lie. Mind blown, Daisy. I never ever would have thought about that. I kind of wish that's what would happen. That would be so much more interesting than just your typical amnesia storyline. I don't know if that's gonna be the case, but I really like the idea. Shoot. Sandra at yrchat.com says, "I felt nothing for Hillary as she sat beside Devon's hospital bed. Even then, it was all about her guilt, her forgiveness, her needs. Lily's reaction, on the other hand, was heartbreaking. Lily loves her brother deeply, and it shows." Connor, on the other hand, at yrchat.com says, okay, I'm sick of Lily. Give Hillary a damn break just one time. Her pain is real. I honestly do think Hillary is remorseful for what happened to Devon. You guys, the comments are so polar opposite on the Hillary Devon situation, and I feel like I'm always kind of walking a tightrope because I'm cursed. It's sort of the curse of my life. I'm able to see everything from anybody's perspective. It's so easy for me to just put myself into someone else's shoes, and I just see how they are, who they are, and I try to identify with them. I guess I'm just empathetic, so I see both sides of this, and then every week I'm trying to walk the line on a controversial topic. So I hope that everybody, your guys, that just shows there's just two different camps when it comes to Hillary, and I don't know, nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's just a show. That's the whole point of us talking about it, is that, if everybody would agree, it wouldn't be quite as fun. The show's supposed to be controversial, and in that way I think that the character of Hillary is very successful. Lot Valley at yrchat.com says, I think Michelle Morgan is the actress is doing a great job in the episodes showing her at Devon's bedside. She seems to have physically transformed herself, and I'm impressed by how authentically and not over the top she's playing those scenes. I still find the character Hillary despicable, but I admire the actress. That, I think, sums it up really nicely, Lot Valley. It really is the actress that's pulling me into this character. If it were somebody else playing her, or if it was being played by someone not as effective or capable as an actress, I think that I would feel differently about it. It is so similar to the character of Sharon. You like the actress, you've been with her for so long, and it's the capability of the actress that really makes you identify with the character, and then you just, I can't help but maybe see things from her point of view. But I agree, it really is the acting. She did an incredible job, I think, in the scene with Neil at the apartment, and I think she's done an incredible job at Devon's bedside, not, as you say, Lot Valley, not being over the top about it. There is sort of a subtle performance that's going on that I think makes it all the more real. She looks exhausted. She looks emotionally and physically exhausted, and I guess I just can't help but relate to what she must be going through. I think that she hates herself in a way for what has happened, and I don't know, I just see it. I think it plays, I think it reads, but I know I'm in the minority. Aaron on YouTube says, yes, I'm so glad Reed is finally back. I've been asking for Reed for years now. Since no one else in the family wants to run Newman Enterprises, maybe Reed can take it over. My thoughts exactly, Aaron. Justin left me a voicemail saying, did you notice how Ben has become the cliche soap doctor? He has no storyline of his own. Maybe we should have Max come back as a teenager, and that would give some direction for Reed's character. Very, very good point. And I was kind of zoning in on Stitch a little bit this week too. He definitely doesn't have a life outside of just going in and being in the emergency room and giving updates about Devon's medical condition. So it's interesting that Stitch has been kind of relegated to that idea of the stereotypical soap opera doctor. Consuela at yrchat.com says, I'm loving Reed so far, and the actor that plays him is kind of cute. He seems like a really good kid, and he seems like he could be a troublemaker, but I hope he doesn't turn out to be too much of a troublemaker. We don't need another Max. Also, Consuela says, I think it's about time that they age Faith. I mean, shouldn't her and Reed be about the same age? Yeah, I wonder about that. I'm so lost when it comes to what age these kids should be. I mean, I've always been someone who's very focused on the storyline at hand, and I have a harder time remembering the history of the show. There are certainly storylines that pop out to me and that I remember with more detail, but I have no idea what the age difference is, but it sort of makes sense that Faith and Reed would be around the same age, right? But I don't think they'll age the child. I don't think they'll age Faith. They're getting too much mileage out of her right now. But I had to laugh. This really made me laugh. Gary, you left me a voicemail this week with this zinger saying maybe Reed can go live with Nikki and Victor. Why not? If he's not happy with JT and Mac, I would say that is a perfect solution. Let Nikki and Victor just take in all the strays in Genoa City. Hey kids, you don't want to live with your parents? Come on over to the ranch. I'll buy you a horse. Good one. Superplex at yrchat.com says, what kind of cockamamie advice is Sharon offering Mariah? According to Mariah, she should have let Hillary step all over her as if she was a doormat that Hillary could scrub the soles of her shoes on. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I didn't, Superplex. It was toward the beginning of the week that Sharon was just finding out what happened at the benefit, and Sharon was kind of scolding Mariah for doing the whole teleprompter gag. She thought that Mariah should have turned the other cheek and not sought revenge on Hillary, and it was an odd moment coming from Sharon. And not that Sharon is vengeful, but usually Sharon is all about the kooky stunt. So it was a little bit surprising that she would be so level-headed. I think Y&R is probably going out of their way to show Sharon as level-headed right now. Maybe that's what they think the audience wants to see, but it was tonally quite a bit of a difference for Sharon's character. Marianne at yrchat.com in response to that comment says, I agree about Sharon. I think there is a middle ground between burning down the ranch and being goody two-shoes with Mariah. Yeah, I think that you hit it there, Marianne. I think that Y&R needs to find a way to bring Sharon back to the center instead of it always being this bipolar opposite. I would like to have maybe some moment of peace for Sharon's character, but it did seem a little goody two-shoes, right? James at yrchat.com says, I'm thinking that Dylan will not be killed off in the line of duty. He deserves a better ending than that, and I believe Y&R will give it to him. He will take down the bad guys because that's just what Dylan does. He will come home, and I'm thinking that he will leave because he will get an FBI promotion or maybe go back to the Middle East in some capacity. He'll leave because he will not be able to bear the pain of losing Sully. That's another good alternate theory, James, that maybe he will successfully complete the mission. I like that you said that's just who Dylan is. He is a good guy, and he is going after the bad guys, and I think that the fans probably would like to see him be victorious in that as opposed to being killed off. So really good point. I'd love to hear some more alternate theories this week on what you think will ultimately happen to Dylan's character. What will his send-off be? So feel free to leave me all the comments you want on that, because I think that we're probably gonna see some resolution on it either this week or the week after, but in January for sure. Leslie at yrchat.com says, I think Dylan's assignment has to do with Sharon's father. We had a hint this week with Faith asking Sharon if her parents were divorced, which, by the way, is weird that she doesn't know. It reeks of the Bill Bell classic storylines, and I'm so excited. Leslie, I didn't even pick up on that. I don't know why that didn't even dawn on me, but I know there had been some rumors about Sharon, about Mariah and Cassie's father coming onto the scene. We haven't really seen Doris, Sharon's mom, in a long time. It would be interesting if Y&R decided to pursue that path. But I think you are right that we are getting into some classic storyline, arcs. It does feel like the writing on the show right now is kind of a throwback. I didn't notice that Kay Alden is a storyline consultant right now. So not only do we have these Sully Sussman episodes, but Kay Alden is consulting, and I really liked her. I mean, I don't know a heck of a lot about what goes on behind the scenes, but I do know that I liked the Kay Alden era of writing. writing. So that's really cool. And I can feel it. I feel it in the writing. I feel it in the sets. Y&R's just in a really good place right now. Ellen at yrchat.com says, how long are they going to let Chloe get away with murder? She's a series regular now. I can't care about her at all until her role in Adam's supposed death is explained. Ellen goes on to say, it's bad enough that Nick thinks he's Christian's father. Are we supposed to forget that Chloe is the cold-blooded murderer too? Resolve Adam's storylines. He was a major character. The writers should know how distracting this is for loyal fans. I like that you just let it rip there, Ellen. I think you are right. It's something that if we are getting into classic storylines and we have these really great writers, it is something that does need to be resolved. And for that matter, I will add, when is it going to be time for Chelsea's lie to come out? She is keeping a pretty darn big secret from Nick. By the way, I got lots of comments this past week of people either loving Nick and Chelsea and feeling that they are a great couple with a slow burn. A lot of other people, though, were saying, no, Nick and Chelsea, no, it's just gross. So it's another one of those storylines that may end up bubbling up as one of those two camp kind of fan reaction type of deals. But I would like to maybe get a bigger sense of Chelsea's guilt, knowing that she has this secret about Christian, and they haven't really been addressing that. I mean, I think that we always have Sharon as a convenient scapegoat. It's so easy to blame Sharon for covering up the lie when it came to Christian's paternity and maternity, but then they're leaving some loose ends on some other characters. So why is it okay for Sharon to cover up the lie about Christian's paternity, or not okay, and then it's okay for Chelsea to do it? So I think we need to bring some things around full circle here. I really like Y&R when it's controversial, and then at the same time there's a part of me that dreads it being too controversial because I gotta come on and talk about it, and then I get some happy comments and then I get some really angry comments. So but I still like it. I like when Y&R gives us something that's not just cut and dry, and I think we're there. I think the show is in a really good place right now. But anyway, those are my initial thoughts on the show. Those are the comments you guys have left me, and I would love to hear and read some more. So yrchat.com, of course, is where you can go and leave some text comments. I also have the Facebook and the YouTube page and the voicemail 309-588-4569 if you would like to feedback, let her rip, comment on and vote in the polls and all that good stuff. Whatever you're thinking or feeling about Y&R, I do want to hear it. And if your comment is especially spectacular, you may get it read on next week's Y&R Chat. So everybody stick around, and I will be back next Sunday. I'll be watching the show all week right alongside of ya. And we'll talk about it next time. Oh, don't forget your 2017 Y&R predictions. I want to read those. I'm really excited about that. So everybody put on your thinking caps. Let me know how you're feeling, and let me know what you are predicting for the next year of the show, and we'll be back next week to talk about it. Okay, have a good one. Bye.